This is genuinely insane as the Toronto Maple Leafs send a huge message taking care of the Dallas Stars in a game that was extremely interesting. Obviously, Anthony Stoller's first game missing since the big updates surrounding his injury. Joseph Woll comes out and absolutely dominates, and we saw Darius is one of his favorite players. Nick Robertson really making Darius' comments age very well. Tons to go over today. Welcome in, everybody. We saw some crazy things in this game. We're going to break it all down. We're excited to do so, and hopefully, this is, again, the start of continued winning for this Toronto Maple Leafs team. What's up, Marshall, Archie, Duster, Jim, everybody, Focal? Hope you're all doing well. And Darius, it's a good vibe right now. A lot of things are going on, and another massive win for this Toronto Maple Leafs team. What's up, Jose? Against a very, very good Dallas Stars team, and Nick Robertson came to play against his brother Jason.
Favorite player, Nick. Pump the brakes a little bit. I never said he was my favorite player.
One of them.
No, I do believe in Nick Robertson this whole time. And the last couple of weeks, or last couple of games, I've been saying that, if this continues, if the way it was going were to continue, it's a problem and he would have to be traded. But he might be back. He might be back. But I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. It was against the Buffalo Sabres and it was against his brother, who he always scores against in the Dallas Stars. Every time they play together, he scores or he does something crazy. So I will take it with a grain of salt. But that third line looks pretty good. And they're doing a couple experiments the last couple of games, and I think I don't know, like I like them. I honestly kind of like the way the lines were tonight. That I thought they were heavily outplayed, especially at the start of the game. Joseph Woll kept them in the game, but sometimes your goaltender needs to keep you in the game. The Leafs goaltending has been fantastic so far, and I was kind of worried about Joseph Woll heading into the stretch. I don't know why I'm worried about him. Like, he just continues to prove everybody wrong besides the health thing, right? Like, the ability is there, so he continues to do his thing. He was fantastic. Again, I thought that the Leafs were outplayed the first half of the game, but some of the experiments and these line combinations, like I think I know what Brube's doing, and I kind of like it. Like, I want to see it again. I know that there was some downside to a few things tonight, but that third line, I don't know if you can break them up at this point. Like, they are absolutely rolling. Robertson was +3 tonight. He had a goal and an assist. So they're looking pretty good. Ottinger wasn't that great either, but I mean, you got to be lucky to be good to be lucky, and they won again. That's all that matters. Just win.
Yeah, huge game for Joseph Woll. Obviously getting 37 saves. You have William Nylander getting a pair of goals. Bobby McMahon. You have a lot of players. Nick Robertson, who was the star of the show tonight. I mean, he only played 11 minutes, and it was some of the most impactful 11 minutes that we've seen in a very long time. Yeah, Dan, it's good vibes right now. The team is absolutely rolling, which is of course one of the bigger things. What a glove save from Woll at the end. I mean, Joseph Woll had a great game. Even with that late goal at the end, there was absolutely nothing he could have done specifically about that goal. And Darius, it's the team. You mentioned it. The lines going into this game, I was curious to see how they were going to play out with, of course, Matthews, Marner, Nylander all on the same line. And then you have Matthew Knies, of course, on the second line. The second line was a little bit interesting. We can dive into it as well. But it was the top line looked really good. The third line looked extremely good. Even the fourth line, Steven Lorentz almost had a breakaway goal there. I really wanted to see that one go through. So everybody is playing well. Joseph Woll has been the star of the show. We do have the impact scorecard all ready to go for you all, so we will get to that in a couple minutes here. But, I mean, yeah, let's try to hit the like button as well if you're new. It's it went from unplayable for Nick Robertson to now definitely playing like every single game for the foreseeable future until he starts to cool down. But an absolutely absurd hot streak for him.
Well, that's the other thing too. Like, he didn't play. He was scratched last week, right? After a little while of like, let's see what he can do. Let's see what he can do. And the answer was nothing. And then all of a sudden against Buffalo, you're like, okay, you earn another game. And then tonight it's like, okay, you've earned another game. Like, you can't take him out now. He's playing on Friday. He's absolutely playing. So, and I think that's a good thing. If he continues to roll and be effective at what he's supposed to do, then there's no problem here. And the Leafs have a really good player on their hands. He scored tonight. He got an assist tonight. He was playing physical. I can't remember how many hits he had, but he had quite a few hits. Like, he was good tonight. So
I believe
you're throwing the body around. 3 hits. William Nylander has 2 on the season, right? So it's like, although I think William Nylander has the puck a little bit too much to be throwing hits, but no, he was fantastic again tonight. So credit where credit's due. I thought we were headed towards a trade, but again, I believe in this player. I think there's a very high upside to this player. And we're seeing what it could possibly look like right now. And I think we've seen it in the past at times, but he's got to do it more consistently. So look towards Friday for Nick Robertson. Let's see what he can do there. Let's see what he can do Saturday, because another back-to-back. So he's going to factor into those games. But I don't know. I like this game tonight. And I think we might have the lines here, Nick, from earlier. I'm not 100% sure, but if we can bring up the lines if we happen to have them.
We can have a gander. Here we go.
Yeah, so like the thing I'm seeing from this, and I brought it up in the video, and what I think Berube is seeing, and again, I think it's very like he's just experimenting with it at this point, but I see skill, heaviness, energy, and just like a grind you out line, like a fourth line that'll just come in and check. It's a checking line, right? And I think that that's really cool. Like that's a toolbox you can go into. And what do I need right now at this point in the game? What do I need at this moment in the game? That's kind of what he had in St. Louis and why they won the cup. So I kind of like it. Like I would run it one more game. And again, if they're getting filled in at certain points in the game like they were tonight, although Dallas is a good team, right? Then maybe you look at changing it. But I was never a fan of putting them all in the same line, but for some reason, looking at the entire lineup cohesively like this, I'm like, I kind of like this. Like, I want to see this a little bit more. And on top of it, they're winning. We're in December. Like, I think at this point, if you were losing, it's one thing, but they continue to win. So start playing around with things, see what you like before the playoffs, because something's got to give in April. So, I think, I don't know. I'm having fun with these lines. I'm enjoying watching it.
Yeah, what's up, Polly? Has been a while. Hope you're doing well. What's up, Eric? Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I was skeptical, but they both played really well. Marner still slowed down a little bit. He had an assist in tonight's game, and I think he still had a solid game overall. Nylander, of course, had the empty netter. You also have Max Domi getting on the board again. So you have the two guys who were completely non-factors in a lot of their games this season in Max Domi and Nick Robertson now being. Again, Nick Robertson was a +3. He only had one shot on goal. Of course, had a goal and an assist and 3 hits, and I believe a couple blocks as well, if I remember correctly. So he had just an electric game, and we can dive into the score chart. But before we do, I want to ask the chat to try to predict your top 3 from the impact scorecards, going from the top to the third here. So Darius, again, you've probably seen it, so you can predict if you want, but
I've seen it. So
I'd like to think that Nick
spoil.
Robertson is number 1. I'm gonna have faith in the scorecard here. There could be a world where it's somebody else. I'm gonna go maybe Nick Robertson 1, William Nylander 2, and then this one's kind of tough. I'm curious to see what you guys see as Jim comes in with the bomb. So get your typing going, Jim. That the Leafs Digest logo next to your membership name looks good now. I think it's like purple. It looks really nice. But thank you so much, Jim, for the donation. Third line was fire. Robertson looked like a millennial version of Theo Fleury. Kampf plays a simple and reliable defense-first game. He isn't going to fill the net, but he sure keeps pucks out of ours. I love David Kampf and what he brings, and we'll get into the impact score chart here. But again, thank you so much, Jim, for the super chat there. Obviously means a lot. Third line was great, and once we get to our 3 stars, what's up, Shane? Once we get to the 3 stars, I'm sure there'll be a lot of third liners, at least one of them for sure. But I'm curious to see Robertson, Nylander, Domi. Okay, I think it's Robertson, Nylander, probably Domi as well, like someone like that. I can't imagine maybe Auston Matthews sneaks. I don't think he had a phenomenal game here. So without further ado, Darius, let's see. I'll lock in what I had. So I had Robertson 1, and then of course William Nylander 2. Interesting. Bobby McMahon, I was gonna say. So it was
also scored tonight.
Robertson 1, which is good. Bobby McMahon 2. Domi 3, Nylander 4, which makes sense. And Benoit coming off of being healthy scratch gets in at number 4 there, or 5 there, sorry, which is really solid as well. And something we'll dive into, thanks again for the donation, Jim, but what we'll dive into is Connor Timmins. He's been playing really bad, really bad. So that's unfortunate. You guys were pretty close. Big Man was kind of the one in the middle. Patches has been really good too.
I want to talk about, I'm saving Patches. I want like a whole segment on Patches.
Robertson, Nylander, Woll. Woll would be number 1 if there was goaltenders here, but this makes sense. And even Ryan Reeves factored in a little bit here towards the, at least in there, not at the very bottom.
Yeah. Okay, so Bobby McMahon scores. Like it all makes sense. Like who's at the top because they all really scored and they all had a great game. David Kampf, somebody was mentioning him in the chat. I can't remember
Jim
who.
and the donation as
Jim,
well.
yes. Mentioning. We'll get to it in a second.
We do actually have a note on that as well, Jim. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted. If you got gifted a membership from Jim, make sure to thank him. Joe, Alex, Darren, Soulmates, and DL Homestead. You guys now have access to. You have the icon next to your name. You have a bunch of emotes and things like that. We are, I believe, now 15 members away from 150, which I believe is the next threshold for emotes.
Correct.
So we are 15 away from that. So more emotes are coming for you all. And Shane, we also have Collins figured out, I believe. Tentatively, we have Collins figured out. So we did that, Darius. That work was done. And should all be good for the watch along on Monday, which Darius should be able to make. We'll get into that later. But again, thank you for the 5 gifted, Jim. And you guys have emotes, new ones coming in. You can see some emotes going. We got the belt emote. So Again, thank you guys for that. We'll have more emotes again as we get more members. But going back to what you were saying about patches, thank you again, Jim.
Yeah, Pacioretty, touch on that in just a second, but David Camp, great use on this team. I think he's good at what he does, but he makes $2.4 million. So I feel like they're trying to figure out, like, can Dewar do it, or is David Camp, like, is the gap that big? So I feel like they're going to try and figure that out, because what can you do with an extra over $1 million, right? You can go out and do something at the deadline. So we'll see. David Camp, I mean, if he made less, it wouldn't even be a discussion, really, because he's a great fourth line center. He's a great player at doing what he does, and a great penalty killer as well, and on the defensive side of the puck. Now, Pacioretty, what are you looking at there? You see
No, I
him,
just saw something else. Continue going.
okay.
Sorry.
Pacioretty, this guy is unbelievable this year. I don't want to say he's gotten away from his game completely, because he still wants to score and play his game. He's still got a good shot, but he's brought this new level of physicality I've never seen from him, and something that the Leafs have been missing and that they asked him to do, and he's been doing flawlessly. He is killing guys every night, and now different panels, different analysts are saying he's got to be careful because somebody's going to come after him. And this is the thing that I've been talking about on our live streams and our videos. No, they're not, because they're not going to have to answer to Pacioretty, or they're not going to go after Pacioretty, because then they're going to have to answer to the sheriff, Ryan Reeves, on the fourth line. That's why he's in the lineup. And I bet you guys, I'm saying it here, the first time that Ryan Reeves is out of the lineup and Pacioretty is in, because I don't know if they've overlapped too much, like because of Pacioretty being injured and obviously the suspension. But the first time that happens could be this weekend on a back-to-back, and Pacioretty throws a big hit. Somebody's going to try something with him. I'm telling you, I feel like a lot of people are, throwing it out there. Ryan Reeves is not doing anything. He still hasn't fought so far this year. I honestly believe that he is a diffuser. I think there is absolutely something to that teams are not messing with the Leafs, because they know you're going to have to answer to Ryan Reeves. So I think that's a thing. The panels have been talking about it. Maybe at one point Pacioretty's going to have to get into a fight here, because he's throwing his body around too much. It's not even too much. I love it. This guy is fantastic. What an amazing signing there. Super under the radar. I didn't even know what his health was looking like, and then he comes in and he's doing this. So fantastic signing. He's been great. Hopefully he doesn't have to answer the bell. Hopefully he can continue to play physical, because they got Ryan Reeves over there. So that's just how I feel about it. I know a lot of people have different opinions about Ryan Reeves, but I think there is something to him being on the team, on the fourth line, and other teams knowing that if we start running around, we're going to have to answer to that, and it's probably going to settle down pretty quickly after that. So he's been great.
Yeah. Darius obviously is a big Ryan Reeves truther. I think he loves
Nick Robertson.
He loves his Ryan Reeves. He loves his Ryan Reeves. Leafs got to clean up some of the mistakes. We're looking good for the most part. I mean, yeah, they have moved to the 20th win on the season now. Patches are scoring and doing the job of fourth line while playing on the second line. Yeah, I mean, he's playing really well. He's doing exactly. He looks healthy out there, which is obviously the most important thing, especially dealing with a ton of injuries, a ton of different things that are going on surrounding him. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they can do the rest of the year, especially just with, I mean, you have Hill to be going, you'd assume Saturday and the second night of a back-to-back. So there is something to be said about that. But when it comes to how they're playing really well. They're playing really good hockey. And this is a very good Dallas Stars team. Really good team. And started off a little shaky, and then they really just took control of the game. 3 unanswered goals. I mean, they dominate, and they had way less shots than the Dallas Stars throughout the whole game. So what's up, JM? Evening from Peru. It was great. Brick Wall was phenomenal. 37 saves. Like, I can't say enough positive about this team. It's looked so good lately. It's been a pretty stress-free season on a whole here. Every time they lose 2 games in a row, every single time they bounce back in pretty dominant fashion here.
They're rolling. They're top of the Atlantic. There's not too much to get into in terms of negatives. There's a few things like you got to clean up, but it's different this year.
Robert comes in with a donation. Not complaining because we won, but this starting slow has got to stop. They'll not be able to come back in the playoffs like they have in the regular season. It's a fact. It don't work. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, they have been starting slow. They've always bounced back, and they're now moved to, I believe, 16-0 when leading after the second period now after tonight's win. So if you can get the lead, thank you so much again, Robert. If you can get the lead heading into the third period, the lead heading into the third, you're in a very good position. And that's kind of been what has been obvious for this team. And I agree with you, though, Robert. I hope they clean that up, but it's kind of the way they've been playing the regulars. Oh, my Lord. Duster with your $27.99. He loves that number. Jim is the sheriff member. Duster, your support, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We both, of course, appreciate it a lot. He is. Jim is the sheriff. Thank you so much, Duster, for your support on this, and Jay's Digest as well. We we appreciate it. The vibes are great right now. The vibes are great
Yeah.
overall. Thank you again, Dustin.
Leafs are playing great. Everyone's having a good time. This is fantastic. And I mean, there's a few things to clean up. No team is flawless. No team is going to not lose any games, right? But I think for the most part, I'm enjoying what I'm seeing from the Leafs because they're cleaning up a few things that I have problems with. Like coming into tonight's third period, you just threw out that stat there. I don't know if that stat is true last year, really, like or past years. Like they've lost so many games that they were leading in the third period. You go to overtime, you lose, or you lose in regulation. They're not doing that this year. I think that's a really good sign. They let up the one goal at the end, but you end up getting the empty
Right
netter,
after.
excuse me, right after it. Nylander's getting slashed to hell on the way on the breakaway, and you finish it off there. You defend well, and obviously your goaltender's playing well. Your goaltender's going to have to bail you out. Good teams and teams that win the Stanley Cup have really good goaltenders. Like you can make the argument that Bobrovsky bailed out the Florida Panthers a lot last year, right? That's just the way it goes. No team is flawless, and everyone's got to play a role and everyone's got to step up at times. There's times that the Leafs only allow 20, 25 shots. And then there's nights like tonight where you get a little bit lucky and you convert on your opportunities. So it's a really good thing. They're rolling. Love the way it's going. I want to see a couple more games of the lineup the way it is because I think if this ends up working out and they iron out a few things, this is a very hard lineup to keep pace with because you're putting out other teams are putting out their best players to line match Matthews, the M&M line, as they're calling it now, Matthews, Nylander, and Marner, to match them. If they come off the ice, then you got a second line that's coming out and they're hitting everything that moves. Nyes is coming in on the forecheck. He's hitting you. Tavares is an underrated body checker, and he's winning every puck battle. One of the best in the entire league. Does it again to win the game to seal the empty netter tonight. He's doing that. Pacioretty is throwing crushing hits, like destroying guys every night. Then the third line goes out there and they'll capitalize now because it's a good mixture of players. Domi's feeling better. Robertson's feeling good about himself. We know what McMahon brings to the table. So if they can kind of iron out a few, deficiencies here with a couple of the lines, this looks pretty good. So I wanted to see a couple more games with this lineup because I think that's hard to match.
Yeah. It's yeah, Jim, agreed. Let's try to get to 50 likes. 70 plus you in here. We're at 18 likes. Let's try to get to 50. So if you haven't hit it already, it's free. Obviously, takes a second. Helps us a lot there. So that would be, of course, much appreciated if you guys can go ahead and do that. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, there's not much to complain about when it comes to the Leafs here because you're looking at them, the box score, they're playing phenomenally. You're looking at them holding leads. They've been holding leads really well because they have good goaltending. They have Anthony Stolarz coming out. You have all these different guys who are doing good things. And you look at the impact score chart and Nick Robertson, I mean, he's been really good. You have a bunch of new guys playing, Steven Lorentz, new players added this year, playing really well. Steven Lorentz has been probably the most consistent. He had technically, he's never going to light up the advanced analytics chart or anything like that. But I forgot to hit it's all good shit. And Chris Tanev has been struggling according to these charts as of late a little bit. So there's some things going like that. But as a whole here, you can't really be upset at this team. I have nothing but good things to say about tonight's game besides they keep getting off to very slow starts, which has been the only negative about this team thus far this season. How many wins does this team have where their tendy has bailed them out? Yeah, I don't know. It happens, and I think they're playing fine hockey. They've been playing pretty rough offensively as of late, especially regarding that top line. But I mean, they made the moves, and obviously we see the lines here. It worked out tonight. They probably run this very similar back with maybe Timmins out for Myers.
Yeah, Timmins might be out next game. He's been that's been tough. I don't know what happened there. All season he's been good, pretty good, and then all of a sudden that third pairing is taking all types of penalties. So I don't know what that is. We also have breaking news. Max Domi has officially gotten the belt tonight. So congrats to Max Domi. I thought it might have been Robertson, maybe even Joseph Woll.
That's crazy. Robertson didn't get it.
I know, but even Joseph Woll. I mean, 37 saves is unbelievable. But Max Domi gets the belt, but well deserved. Back from injury, he looks like he's himself again, which is good. He's scoring. He's putting up points. He's throwing the body a little bit. He's getting in there. So still more to see from him, I think, this season. But it's been good.
Darius' first two lines are going to be covered heavy, and that's why our secondary scoring is so important. Third line is on a roll, and I'm excited to see how far they can go. Robo jersey, anyone. Darius would be the guy, but that is a very risky jersey to get because he got the Domi one. He is a pending unrestricted free agent after this year, which means
that's tough, yeah.
There is a strong world where he, of course, leaves or even gets traded at the deadline. I mean, let's not forget, there is a chance that he's driving his value up right now pretty heavy. He is driving his value up pretty high right now. Yeah, the top line, I mean, they scored 2 goals, technically one because one of them was an empty net with Nylander. I like to get the young Russian goalie on the Marlies call over Hildeby, Arthur Akhtiamov.
Akhtiamov, yeah.
I think they're going to ride with Hildeby. I mean, maybe Friday.
We actually have a tidbit on that. Where I was going to bring it up in a video tomorrow, but since you guys are in here, I'll fill you in on what's going on. But Matt Murray played with the Marlies tonight. He's been dealing with an injury. First game back from injury, shutout tonight. So, and the plan is, apparently, the word is right now, again, we're going to have a video on this tomorrow. We're going to really deep dive on everything, but the plan is that Matt Murray is going to get a couple starts with the Marlies because he's been hurt, and he'll be back up behind Joseph Woll until Anthony Stolarz comes back, and Hildeby will go down. And I think that's the play. I think that's the play at this point because Hildeby hasn't been great at the NHL level. Get him some more experience at the AHL, and don't touch Akhtiamov. He's been fantastic. Continue to do your thing in the AHL. Don't worry about the NHL at this point. You don't have to.
Yeah.
That's why they kept Matt Murray.
And depending on what happens tomorrow, we'll obviously have a more in-depth video. Where's the decorations, boys?
Oh, man.
It'll come, Duster. Maybe virtual decorations with the lights and things like that for the watch along on Monday. Maybe you'll see some things there with Collins as well in between periods. Again, a lot of things are going to be happening Monday. Trade robo value is high. It is high. I mean, I don't know how much the teams are looking into the fact he had 2 good games, but that being said, I think if he continues to play well, it will be good. And I want to ask the chat this as well, and you, Darius, just type yes or no. Do you have any level of concern surrounding Auston Matthews?
No. Okay. No. In terms of, I think people want him to score a lot of goals, but when I look at his game now, it's matured, and I think that goal scoring is nice, but I think he's doing things all over the ice that a lot of people aren't looking for, don't find appealing, that he's doing really effectively, and they're winning. Maybe not winning games because of it, but it's going to be necessary come those tight games in the playoffs and things that they've kind of gotten away from in the past where they kind of give up. So he's doing things all over the ice, these little, chip plays, the details things on the boards, puck battles, defensive zone coverage, stuff like that, where I think he's been really good, but he's just not scoring. It's not as flashy as he was maybe last year, but I don't even know if he's going to score 40 goals this year. Like, he's definitely not on pace to do that, but if they win a round or two, or they look like they can actually win a Stanley Cup, I don't think anybody's going to remember any of that anyway. So
I don't think he gets the 40 actually this year. I don't think he does. I think he gets maybe
like
mid-30s, something like that, unless he goes on an absolute tear. But I don't know. The way they're playing is, again, they're playing more so for the win than obviously individual accolades. I don't think Auston Matthews is going to be worried at all about his personal stats. He obviously got paid. He's the face of the franchise. He's the captain, and now the Leafs are actually winning games. I mean, they will always win games in the regular season, but they're winning them in theory in a sustainable way. Jim's saying Murray had hip surgery, and after he has a few warm-up games, solid backup. Arthur Akhtiamov is a great kid, needs season. Yeah. He has hot streaks, and then he's on fire. Yeah. Paulo's saying no concern at all. He's an all-around player. That's the biggest thing. He's more all-around this year than he's been in previous years, especially defensively. I mean, same as Mitch Marner. He's also been playing really well this season, which, again, defensively, that is been cooled off a little bit as of late, like that whole top line has. But that's why you have that's why you have a lot of these other players that are stepping up in their absence. Nick Robertson, Max Domi, right? Heavily as well.
Yeah, it's going to happen over the course of a season. So they're stepping up now. They need them to, right? They haven't been to this point, so they need them to step up, these depth players, and the Leafs top line will get going again. It's just the way the season goes. There's lulls. Christmas is next week. I'm sure a lot of guys are looking forward to that already for that break. And it's been a busy month for the Leafs too, and it's going to continue to be. So that'll be fine. I don't know if they don't, like Matthews specifically isn't looking like himself. Like, again, I think that he's not looking to score. I think they're trying to play a more well-rounded game. Berube is probably preaching that you need to do things to win. They got to get uncomfortable to win, right? They looked very comfortable the last 6 or 7 years every game. Everything's been taken care of for them, right? Don't worry, guys, all this stuff, like that attitude the last regime had. None of that now. Like, come on, guys, let's play a 200-foot game. Let's take care of the puck here. Take care of yourselves and let's get going. So I like what I'm seeing from the Leafs so far this season. And their top guys. Like, it's more of a well-rounded game. From a couple guys, there's still a few things like night to night where you're like, what's going on here? But no, I think Matthews is playing a good 200-foot game. And underratedly, the last couple of years, building up to that. But this year specifically, like tonight on the penalty kill, this is the other thing. He's playing in the penalty kill now, right? He's playing in all situations. So throwing the body around on the penalty kill, he's doing it all. So he's not going to score 70 goals this year, but I think that's fine because if they're getting uncomfortable and not looking like themselves sometimes, I think that might be a good thing this year because it means that I'm ready to be uncomfortable. I'm ready to do things that are going to get us over the hump. So hopefully that's the shift that's taking place right now.
Yeah, and he might. I'm not saying Matthews is 100% healthy. He's probably dealing with some things
Sure.
for all we know. Also, we're 20 likes away from 50. Let's try to hit that before the end of the stream. So if you're in here, hit that like button. It's interesting as Shane gifts 5. We're now,
Shane.
thank you so much, Shane. We're now 10 away from the unlocking new members. So Gary, Rick, Gareth, Jacob, and that Blair dude, you now have access to the emotes. We're 10 away from being able to get more emotes as we continue to fill them up. We're gonna end up having a David Camp emote with all the support you guys have been giving lately. Shane, thank you so much. No worries, Shane. Drive safe. That's priority.
Thanks, Shane. Appreciate it. I just made a Fraser Mitten emote, and then he was sent down, so that was heartbreaking.
We can
like
still have
literally
it
right after
as a call for him to get called up.
No, 100%. It's the mint leaf, and he, you know what, like he was sent down like immediately after I made that. It was so heartbreaking, but it's fine. I'm sure we'll see him again at some point this season. I mean,
definitely at some point. Maya's disagreeing with the takes tonight. Not winning battles. I think he's definitely winning battles. But either way, we can agree to disagree. I'm gonna stop it. I had time to gift Shane. Appreciate it. Like always. We'll please make a Reeves. You should.
yeah,
You have
I
to.
know. I have a couple ideas. I'm running out of slots, so as we unlock more, like I have a couple ideas. I'm just trying to get to like what's hot. Like Mitten was obviously everybody was talking about Mitten, so I wanted a Mitten emoji. Now he's gone, so we're gonna get like a Reeves head in there. We're gonna get some fun stuff in there as well. So
Robert with the 5. Do you think that some players like Timmins and Benoit take more time to adjust the heavy play that Berube demands without taking penalties? Very interesting question. Probably.
Timmins, yes. Benoit, that's his game. So I feel like he's just slow to the puck sometimes.
Thank you, Robert.
Slow to the play. But thank you, Robert. But I think that's a good point. Yes, with Timmins, 100%. I could believe that. Benoit, I think that's always been his game. So I don't know what's going on there. He just takes a lot of penalties. I just don't know if the refs like give him the benefit of the doubt. You see other guys around the league like have the respect of the referees, and which is crazy because it should just be called the way it is, the game. This goes for like the NBA and the NFL and everything. But you know, I don't know if he has that necessarily. So it could be some of that, but definitely Timmins, but Benoit, I don't know.
Do you guys watch the whole game? Watch the whole game.
I watch every game. I never miss it.
We got to go live.
A game in 20 years.
We got to go live after every game. So we choose to go live after every game. So of course it did. Yeah. There is and again, the funny thing is like the trade talks have kind of cooled down a little bit surrounding just the NHL. Even Montreal just made a trade, I believe, like a few
during the game.
Yeah, during the game. So as you continue to see and this might even now, I still think a third line center is the biggest thing they need, but despite needing a third line center, they have guys like Robertson stepping up on the wing. If anyone's reading this hasn't yet, hit the like and subscribe. Give Nick and Darius an early Christmas gift. Again, thank you, Shane. We'll be live. I'll be live at least on Christmas Eve. Darius will try to get out there. I'll make sure I always go live on Christmas Eve. So we'll get that. Sportsnet just put up the game sheet where the Leafs had Auston Matthews and Willie listed as centers.
I would like to find that, but
it's interesting. Remember the William Nylander center experiment? Lasted for some time.
Not yeah, and Berube, we just got comments from Berube. I'm not sure that top line is going to stick together much longer, but we'll see what happens Friday. He didn't like their effort. Sorry, it's not that he didn't like their effort. He didn't like their decision making, and he said that we did what we had to do to win. Our goalie was fantastic, and he didn't think that they had their best game in regards to the first line. So usually when he says something like that, you don't see whatever he's talking about ever again.
Put Nyes back up there. And then maybe
mix it up, but
move Mitch Marner away.
I like the idea. It's just I don't know if the execution is going to be there because all three of those guys demand the puck. They need the puck to do things. So that's why I feel like they should all have their own line. But the way that the lineup kind of shaped up with them all in the first line, I fell in love with there for a game. But we'll see.
Thanks again for your donation, Robert. Yeah, Berube. Yeah, Berube is hilarious. I love him. Great coach.
I love Berube actually. Like he's very underrated, funny guy there. Very underrated.
Boone Jenner, third line center. There's a lot of third line centers that we'll make videos on, especially as things start to escalate and pick up.
I see a lot of people, now that you brought that up, are mentioning Boone Jenner a lot. Like I see it in our comment section. I see it online. somebody correct me if I'm wrong if they know. I thought I saw that Boone Jenner's out for the season with an injury. So I don't know if that's 100% true, but I thought I saw that. I don't think he's an option for the Leafs or anyone besides the Blue Jackets. Ryan O'Reilly, third line C. If he would be open to coming back, but I feel like there's a little bit of, I don't know, the way he left and what he said. I don't think he liked the emphasis on the core forward. Things have changed a little bit, so I could see him being more open now. But that'd be interesting. But again, he'd be a third line center. I don't know if you liked his deployment there last time either. It's kind of the same lineup as when he was here, so I don't know if that works necessarily.
Yeah, it's definitely intriguing. Let's dive into our 3 stars of the night now. Yeah. And speaking of, I mean, is Vetrano available? Joshua, is he? I assume he's still available. Let's start with the
something tells me Vetrano is available.
So let's start with the third line. But first, Blake, the question: Do you think that Robertson and Domi are going to run with it? Because after that, they both score goals and they got goals again tonight. I think they're going to probably. It's going to be tough. I'm very interested. Nazem Kadri's another one. That's a big name and been linked a lot. Darius not a fan. If you've seen the videos, probably have another.
Doesn't make sense, yeah.
On that soon. But let's dive into the 3 stars. I would rather Trillvan go after a center for sure at this point, especially with the emergence of some of their other guys like Domi and obviously Nick Robertson. Ryan Strom's an interesting one as well. All right, 3rd star of the night. I'll let you start.
3rd star of tonight. I'm going to go with Max Domi. I thought he had a great game. Another bounce back. It's not a bounce back game. He had a good game against Buffalo, but slowly here as he's come back from injury, he's been playing well. So Max Domi's my 3rd star. Again, scored tonight. It was a nice goal. So
yeah, my 3rd star of the game is going to be, of course. Now again, this is kind of a tough. I'm gonna give it to Bobby McMahon tonight. He played really well, kind of like a sneaky good game, even though he is 2nd on the chart. Just a very good game. He's been pretty solid all season, especially right before his injury. So I'm gonna give it to Bobby McMahon.
A good choice, Bobby McMahon. He's been pretty good this season. He still needs to find another gear, though, I think. My 2nd star tonight is going to be Nick Robertson. Finally get to put him in a 3 stars. Yeah. Finally get to put him in a 3 stars this season. But no, he was great again tonight. He was all over the ice, all over the puck. He had 3 hits. He was playing physical. Obviously, a goal and assist, +3 on the night, which I don't like to really look at plus minus, but told something in this game. So, no, he was fantastic. So he's my 2nd star.
Mine is also going to be Nick Robertson tonight. Could have gave him the number 1 star, but I'm saving that for someone. Great game from him. Physical. Could easily be the number 1 star. Throwing his body everywhere. Playing great offensively, defensively. And he's actually, even when he's not scoring, even though he has been, he does other things that make you appreciate his on-ice time. So that's what I'm giving it to him. And I'm also going to give my number 1 star to Joseph Woll, player of the game, won in the game. Unbelievable out of him. And it honestly gives the fan base a breath of relaxation, knowing that Stolarz goes down and he comes out and he has a game like this where he absolutely dominates. Reminds me of like a Connor Hellebuck stat line, just a ton of shots on goal and saving most of them. So shout out to Joseph Woll. He is my 100% number 1 star.
Yeah, Joseph Woll. That's all. I mean, made an incredible couple saves there in that game, kept them in the game early, allowed them to win, gave them a chance to win. They converted offensively on very little chances that they had, but gave him a chance to win. Joseph Woll is the 1st star. I mean, he's been the Leafs goaltending. Like, there is no nervousness from me or anything. I don't know if every other fan is feeling this, but unbelievable.
Nick says his girlfriend is coming Friday and will be here all weekend. When I donate, act like it's the first time. I will. I will, Jim. I will. We'll do that for you. We'll definitely do that for you. I'll act very we'll act very surprised. The way the Leafs play this year might have to expand it to 5 stars per night. Literally seems like that way, honestly, the way things have been going. I mean, they've been absolutely. I mean, like every time they win the game, every time they win a game, sorry, it's like there's so many players that played well. You can really pick. You could literally pick a name out of a hat, and you can make a case for almost all of them. Now tonight is a little bit different. It's you need to e-transfer me, and I'll donate in your honor. Robo Wall Domi. It's a really respected one. Honorable mention to Max Domi as well. I mean, phenomenal game out of him. And I want to give Darius his props because that jersey is not cursed. It's just, that's the way it was.
No longer cursed. It was looking
it was cursed for sure.
For quite a while there, it was looking bad, but he's back on track. He's playing well. I think that's a good thing. They're going to need him to play well, the Leafs, to get going here, like in games like this. So it's good. Nick Robertson, too. He's been playing well. but he's got to do it more consistently. I'm gonna enjoy these last couple of games of Nick Robertson because he's making me look pretty good for what he said. But um, we'll see what he does long term.
Yep. Frank Vetrano, I mean, it's
There's a
destined.
real
Yeah, I was gonna
possibility
say
there
it's
looking
destined.
at that.
Yeah, it's a very real trade possibility, which is not too common because, I mean, last season or last trade deadline, Chris Tanev and Nikita Zadorov were the two. Now there's kind of Kadri. There's a bunch of different things. The Stitch lines. What do you think they go with? I honestly think they just go with replacing Nyes and Nylander.
Yeah. What they're going to do is they're going to go back to exactly the
Yes.
way it was. That's exactly what's going to happen Friday, where you're going to see Nyes on the top line. Nick called it right there. Nyes is back on the top line. Nylander back with Pacioretty and Tavares. That's exactly, and they won't touch anything else. That's the only two moves.
Leafs Digest, all 3 stars in my book, Robert. Thank you so much. Your support has been great. Everyone's support tonight has been great. Girlfriend and I will be at the Leafs game Monday. Can you give some detail on how Collins will work? Yes, we can do that now before wrapping up. I will forward it over to Darius right here. I have a crazy headache, so I'm gonna forward this one over to Darius. Go for it.
Okay.
Go for it.
Basically, how it'll work, it's nothing crazy. So how it's going to work is we're going to put a phone number either on screen during the game. I guess for this one it would be during the game, but normally it would be after the game, post game. We're going to put a phone number on the screen. You call that number. We're also going to have like a password for you to put in. So when you call, it's going to ask you for the password. Basically, you put the password in. We're going to have both either on the screen or in the chat, so you can just copy it, whatever you want to do. So you're going to call the phone number, put in the password, and then we're going to basically let you into the call, and then we're going to chat for a few minutes, get your thoughts, and then we'll try and get for the call in, sorry, not the call in, but for the watch along, we'll probably do a couple for post games. I don't know, we could do maybe 3 or 4 a night.
Yep.
We'll see how it works out, but we could do a bunch of call-ins that first game, which I think would be pretty fun to watch along next Monday. But super simple. You'll just call a phone number that we'll put up. We'll send to you guys here in the chat or on screen. Put in a special password in, and then we'll let you into the call here.
And also, again, it's not going to be our personal numbers, so it's just a Zoom number. So don't go texting that number and thinking it's Darius or anything like that. It'll just be the Zoom.
Yeah, I think that number like dies immediately after. So don't. It's not a personal number. Don't text that number who you think should be on the third line like that. It's not gonna text you back, I don't think, or it might text you back saying this number's out of service. But
Joshua,
that'll be it.
Thanks, Shane, watching 72 trade rumor sites. Good lord, that is impressive, man. Are you going live when the game's live on Monday? Yes. So we will start the stream probably 10-15 minutes. Take it easy, Maya. 10-15 minutes before the game, and then we'll be live throughout the whole game. So as they're playing until the end of the game. So it's going to be we're talking 2.5-hour stream. So it's going to be the biggest Leafs Digest stream in a very long time. So you're going to want to tune into it. We'll have Collins. We'll have different things on the go. So it's going to be, and again, it's an afternoon game. It starts at 2 p.m. Eastern.
2 p.m. on a Monday, yeah.
Whether you're at work, school, home, tune in, and we'll get a lot of call-ins, and then we'll come up with a way to prioritize call-ins for the post game, so that's members, people who whatever ends up being donated, or whoever. We'll find out a way. And everyone will have an opportunity to call in at some point for sure.
Maya, I don't know if he was saying the pay service in terms of the stream, which it's not, or the call-in.
Call-in
Also not paid. Yeah, totally free. So you're just gonna call the that'll be it.
Are you guys watching?
Yeah,
it?
we'll be watching the game.
Yeah.
We'll be watching along, basically. So we'll watch it here on stream, and we'll watch it with you guys. You guys can put this on and also watch the game with us, and we'll just give our thoughts as the game goes. Something new instead of just a post-game reaction to it. Like, what are our thoughts in game? I think it's going to be pretty fun, and we can have like extended conversations about other things, or previous Leaf years, or whatever as the game goes on. I think
it'll be an interesting one. And again, we'll hype it up in our videos community tab to remind you. I'll probably be at the bar, my brother day drinking. Call in, Shane. Call in drunk. Wondering why people are donating. Yeah, I think Shane gave a pretty good explanation there for that. Hey, Nick and Darius, any news on the December 23rd? Just then lit. We just that's the one. It'll be Shane. It won't be after the game. It'll be during the game. The Collins member for that game on Monday. Yeah, we are talking about it now. This is the game on the 23rd. So,
and then I should say too, like, it's not just a one-time thing. Like, going forward after this watch along, the post-game streams that we have after every game, we will have call-ins, so people can call in after games like this. like what we're doing right now. You can call in, give your thoughts on the game, and all that. And I think that's going to be fun.
Big feature. It's a big feature. My buddy from Philadelphia says it's going to be last year's first-round pick, Danford and Nick Robertson, for Scott Lofton in a second.
I would not trade Ben Danford, period.
He says his birdie from Philadelphia. So is that, do we have hashtag John sources, hashtag John Walker sources? John, is that what you're saying? Or is that a guess, or are you saying you got some, some inside scoop here? I'm all about the inside scoop. Let me know. I'm curious.
Oh, wow, Nick, they actually just traded Nick Robertson for Scott Lawton.
Really?
No, I'm joking.
Oh.
Can you imagine, though?
That would have been impressive.
No.
That would have been very impressive. Montreal's required Alexander Carrier from Nashville for Justin Barron. Yeah, I saw that. What a boring trade. I was thinking of doing members to call because someone in the chat might fall around. So I think the way we'll do it is members will have priority for sure.
Yes.
And then if we're getting a ton of members trying to call in, there's different tiers of membership. So those who are in the higher tier will obviously get priority. And then from there, we'll go down. But we'll try to get everybody in. Hopefully, everybody can do it. John Walker equals least digest Darren Dreger. I mean, someone should save that message. And if that ends up happening, I'll give my props to John Walker. It's also cool if he just walked in, said that, and left. That would also be a pretty just
and never return to the channel ever again. And then it happened. That would be the most incredible thing, I think.
Okay, so last year's so Ben Danford and Nick Robertson for Lofton in a second is what he's.
Yeah. Okay. I wouldn't do that for the record because you know what you have in Ben Danford. You don't
get the higher tier. I believe when you hit join, there's what are the names of them? There's 3 different tiers. I believe a $2.99, an $8.99, and then like a $49.99 or something. There's something like that. So we have access to see who's the higher tiers, and then if it gets to that point, that's one of the it's obviously one of the perks having priorities for call-ins. So we would obviously prioritize them in the call-ins. But again, we'll try to get all members out. I mean, it depends how active the call-ins are.
Yeah.
Ultimately. Chris Johnson reported Predators are not done. Vacant change, but it's definitely close to reality. Vacant change. So not a reporter? Maybe my brain's not working. Maybe my brain's not working right now. Are you saying, is that something you heard, John, from like a report? Or is that just speculation? I'm curious.
I've heard Scott Lawton a lot.
Yeah. That's why it's very close to what they're asking. Okay, maybe we do have a John Walker sources. I'll be impressed, John. I'll be impressed if you get something near that. It doesn't have to be the exact package, but if he gets traded to the Predators, or not the Predators,
Flyers.
The Flyers, I'll give you your props where they are definitely due. 9 likes away from 50. You are correct. I think it's time for Nick to go to bed. Yeah, second prospect being worked on. Okay, John, we'll trust it. And my brain's not working tonight, Blake.
If it comes down, like I have it saved. Credit where credit's due. We will come back to this if this does happen.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, any final thoughts in the chat for Darius or myself? Great stream. Video tomorrow, like usual. You guys' support has been amazing. We are now officially 10 members away from 150, which is crazy. Once we hit that, we'll be able to get our new emotes. That being said, when some of the gifteds expire, you lose some of the emotes, so we'll have to keep building it back up, but we'll continue to do that. But any final thoughts, everybody? Darius, any final thoughts? A late game tonight, so it was it was a long one. Video for you all tomorrow. Stream Friday. Should be good for a stream Saturday. And it's been a crazy December. So thank you guys for your continued support and tuning in. Best community on YouTube. And anything else, Darius, before we say goodbye?
I'm thankful it wasn't an 8:30 start tonight because obviously it's in Dallas, which is an hour behind us. But no, great game from the Leafs. I say great game in terms of they won, but it wasn't a great performance by any means. But hopefully they carry some of this momentum, the last couple of wins, and some of the things that the third line's been doing, and obviously the goaltending into this weekend because it's another big back-to-back coming up here. So it's gonna be tough to end this month. I mean, busy month, but they're slowly getting it done, I think.
Absolutely, Duster. More if it works out well, more watch-alongs going forward for sure. Yep. All right, thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in. Have a great evening, like usual. Blake snipes the final donation with the $2.79. Have a good night, Blake. Hope you have a great night as well. Hope you won a cornhole. Saw your message there. Peace out, Duster. Duster, thank you again for your support, everybody's support, and we will see you all in tomorrow's video like usual. Very interesting topic for tomorrow, so make sure you tune into that. It's going to be an interesting talking point starting the goaltenders. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you later.
Please digest your daily dose of gold. Stories of the bold where legends are told. From first puck drop to the season's full. Tune in and watch the drama